Whenever you're ready. We'll call to order the Urban Renewal Agency meeting for, what's today? April 13th at 3:39 p.m.
Or 6:30.
I'm sorry, 6:39 p.m.
It's not November.
I'm having time troubles today. Okay, can you please call the roll?
Yes. Director Malmberg.
Here.
Director Gelada.
Here.
Director Martin.
Here.
Director Fulton.
Here.
Chair Pareda.
Yes, here.
A quorum.
Okay. So we will begin with item C, the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to accept the consent calendar?
I'll move to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second. Call the question?
Director Martin.
Yes.
Director Gelada.
Yes.
Director Malmberg.
Yes.
Director Fulton.
Yes.
Chair Pareda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to item D, staff reports. We'll begin with the resolution.
Chair, Board of Directors, this is basically the exact thing we just talked about with the city, but the other side of it. So recommend adopting Resolution 26R1289, adopting the plan of action for the fiscal year 24-25 audit finding. I have to file the plan of action for urban renewal and for the city, so that's basically doing that.
Any questions or comments? Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll move to adopt Resolution 26-R-1289, adopting a plan of action for the fiscal year 2024-25 audit finding.
I second.
Call to question?
Director Gelada.
Yes.
Director Fulton.
Yes.
Director Malmberg.
Yes.
Director Martin.
Yes.
Chair Pareda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to item 2, audit report.
Item 2, intergovernmental.
I guess it's intergovernmental, it says audit report on the, oh wait, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at the, yes, sorry.
That's
The
okay.
intergovernmental agreement.
Yeah, is that next in your agenda? That's funny, because I don't,
Well, yeah, it's a little,
D2.
Yeah, D2.
yeah, D2.
yeah, but I mean, in the papers, I don't have the page with
Page
the,
38.
38.
okay, I'm blind. Okay, so basically the same intergovernmental agreement, but this is the urban renewal side of it, to authorize the chair to execute the intergovernmental agreement with the city of Brookings for administrative, financial, and project support services.
Any comments or questions?
I just have a comment that's not really relevant, but we could be like the House and the Senate now and then not do it.
I was wondering about that.
I actually was thinking about that when I was reading through it, of like how silly that is, but yeah. Do I have a motion?
Motion to authorize the chair to execute the intergovernmental agreement with the city of Brookings for administrative, financial, and project support services.
Second.
Call to question?
Director Fulton.
Yes.
Director Gelada.
Yes.
Director Malmberg.
Yes.
Director Martin.
Yes.
Chair Pareda.
Yes.
The motion carries.
Moving on to agenda item E, agency remarks. Does anyone have any comments or remarks?
If you don't mind, I'd like to take this opportunity to just kind of touch on urban renewal projects. I know we haven't had a discussion in a couple years now. So just a couple things I just wanted to bullet point. We'll bring them back to you the next agency meeting. We did get a request for parking lot lighting project at Kidtown from Nature's Coastal Holiday. Typically, we partner financially on that. You may or may not recall the parking lot at the Capella was developed with joint funding. We use urban renewal funding and then their donation. So we're able to develop that parking lot with lighting with the urban renewal funds. Azalea Park is in the urban renewal district. Another project that's been kind of kicked around over the years is a rebuilding of the fountain at Bankus Park. There's potentially a public art component to that as well. We've discussed kiosks. There hasn't been any movement on that lately. Wendy and I have talked about it. We just got busy with other projects. Themed street signs have been discussed. And then, of course, increasing parking opportunities in our downtown is also another project that we've talked about, potentially purchasing land if we had to add more parking. And then, of course, the big one is just holding the funds for a large civic project in our downtown or in the urban renewal. So that's just something I just want to touch on, and we'll bring a project back for approval once we get some estimates for what it's going to cost.
But I know we did talk about in budget meeting earmarking a certain amount of funds towards a public art project too.
Right.
Is the, because the urban renewal things, sunsetting here in 2 to 3 years, the dollars, do they need to be spent by then or allocated by then?
That's a great, Lori, are you still on?
I think they're allocated.
Our city attorney? She is.
I think the way that works is whatever is not spent by the end of it gets redistributed to the other taxing districts.
Is that it?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm sorry, I couldn't get my mute button off.
That's okay.
I believe the mayor's correct in that I've been part of 2 different urban renewals, helping 2 different urban renewal agencies sunset and then deal with their assets. And I have to brush up quickly, but I believe generally what Mayor Coretta says is correct.
What happens in 3 years?
So we either have to have completed projects that utilize the funds that we have, or whatever's remaining in that agency pot then gets redistributed to all the taxing agencies that those redirective funds have come from. So it would be Curry County, Brookings, City of Brookings would be a part of that. So basically when you start an urban renewal agency, the property values are frozen and kind of like earmarked in time. And then the increase in property values from all the districts are rerouted to the agency. And the idea is to create economic development within the community that mutually benefits all the different districts.
And is it a possibility to renew or restart the urban renewal agency?
You can definitely restart. I don't know. I've tried to find out information about can it be prolonged, and I haven't been able to really identify that answer, but it can restart. But that's a major undertaking, and you have it works best to get the agreement of all the other taxing agencies and have really defined projects.
2, yeah. Just, can Lori, I don't know, can you speak to that? Do you know, would it need to get the urban renewal agency, to kind of continue it, would it need to go to the voters, or is there another mechanism to continue it?
I'd have to look at what your urban renewal plan says right now. Some urban renewal plans have a clause in there that says they can be extended for particular reasons or maybe wide reasons. But if it's a firm end date, I think we maybe do have to go, have another vote to get to get that increment funding renewed. But it depends on your urban renewal plan. We have to take a look at that and see what it says.
Yeah, I read through that plan. I actually read through that plan today, trying to find that answer and couldn't find it myself. But because I was curious if that was outlined, I was trying to find the date, but I don't know. I didn't find it.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising, Mayor, because I think some of them I've looked at, older ones, probably like Brookings, didn't have that kind of language in it, so. But I can follow up on that and get a more definitive answer to the board soon, if you'd like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I think this is a conversation we've kind of talked about a lot, and because there is a substantial amount of money in the fund now, and if we can do something of high impact with those funds, I think that would be fantastic. But do we have the time to do that, or what does that look like? I think those questions really matter.
Well, go ahead. Oh, just with the list of ideas you listed a minute ago, have you prioritized them? Is there a rough order of, a ROM, as we call it in my industry, which is a guess at what the cost would be? Not necessarily going out for quotes, but then you could kind of get a feel for, bang for the buck. This is big dollar item we might not want to undertake, but these are.
Yeah, these are not big dollar items. And in the past projects that we've done, we've done sidewalk infill, Alder Street parking lot, sidewalk addition. So we've completed a lot of the sidewalk projects downtown. So we're really these are sort of the low hanging fruit projects that we could undertake, not high priority, but in an effort to make some progress. Some of these smaller projects we could do. They're not high dollar.
It looked like to me that part of this agency was also Bimart, was a part of that?
That was one of the original transactions. There was some land exchange and purchase that happened to make that project happen. So Urban Renewal was, I think, one of the first projects.
And so clearly that was a high impact of bringing in new jobs and a new property that then bolstered the property tax assessed values, which...
And then you have Railroad Street development, you've got downtown, the whole downtown corridor from Alder to Fifth Street, a new sidewalk, curb gutters and sidewalks. And that was roughly 2006-07, those projects took place. That included the street trees, the downtown light fixture, the decorative lights. So there's a lot that happened at that initial stage of Urban Renewal. We've accomplished a lot. Really have.
The power lines underground,
Yes.
was that part of that too?
That was part of that too.
So. Have there been any other properties added, new properties other than Bimart in the agency area?
I mean, retail, Dollar General's at one end of it, yeah.
Yeah, any privatized businesses that are like new builds that brought new property tax revenue in.
Oh, gosh, that'd be a tough, we could come up with that list if you're interested. It wouldn't be, it would be a little bit of a challenge. I've only been here since 2012, so.
Yeah, I'm interested, I think maybe if we contact the assessor's office of like, what was the total property tax value prior to the agency starting, and then what's now the new assessed value. I think that shows what kind of assessed value impact has been made. So I'd be interested in knowing that information for sure, as we think about long-term what we're going to do.
Another thing too, if we're going to talk about extending urban renewal, we should also have the discussion about expanding the urban renewal boundary.
Yeah,
to
and
include,
to include the pool.
Convenient, yeah.
Well, certainly our town is expanding north, and there's limits on our urban renewal boundary to the north. They don't extend very far to the north.
Right.
Much of the newer builds, including the state building there, and some of the other businesses are sort of marching north a little bit, including, also the development that we hope, eventually goes through at Lone Ranch. But in the urban renewal boundary, kind of can't be included in any of those projects because it doesn't go far enough north. So.
Yeah, if it could be tied into that development up north, that would be big.
So you had made a mention that of all these types of projects that could happen, when is our next urban renewal meeting? Where are you bringing that?
When I have the information, I'll have a staff report ready, and we can have an urban renewal meeting after a council meeting, any meeting. When we're ready, when we have the information, we can hold an urban renewal meeting.
So what approximate time frame are you thinking?
Probably a month. I'd say sometime in May, we could have another one for one of the particular projects that we had a request on. I'd like to see what the number is so that we know how much they're willing to donate. I think it's going to be, in the past, it's been a no-brainer to do these projects when we have community, buy-in and donation.
Okay. I do think we should act pretty quickly on whatever it is that we're going to do, so we don't run out of time if we can't expand it or prolong it. I would love
Yeah,
to use
we should have we should have those answers for this body by then, easily, so, with the help of our city attorney.
I agree with Councilor Fulton. I'd hate to see those funds just get absorbed and redistributed. I think it's outside of the intention.
Well, between our departments, I think we could find some great projects. I don't want to send any back, so.
For me personally, I think we need to identify like what's going to make the biggest impact
Sure.
with those funds and not do, little piddly things, but try to use something for a big impact that really is going to help drive the economy
Sure.
or, whatever we can do to really help improve the property values.
Well,
That's,
there's also that survey that Wendy's sending out to all the businesses in the urban renewal district, so I think with that information.
I noticed too that it actually allows improvements on the interior in the plan of businesses. So that might be food for thought if some of that is readdressed.
The current facade improvement?
No, currently we've done facade improvements, but within the urban renewal plan, that binder you got, if you look at the very end of it, the urban renewal plan that outlines the details of what was adopted is in there.
Yeah, it's pretty broad. The urban renewal plan allows for generally any improvement.
Yeah. And it did have, a number of like civic type facilities and projects. But that's what I don't know. How much time do we have to make something like that happen? I think
It depends on how motivated. I mean, the new city hall is also on the list.
I know it is.
This building is how we talked about today.
This building was 1963. In a couple of years, we'll be celebrating its 70th anniversary.
Yeah.
so-
I also think we're outgrowing this space. And a community gathering place and plaza was part of that, identified in that plan. So if we could do something that would have a big impact for the community and create economic drivers, I think that would be.
Something, more along the lines of a conference center.
Yeah.
To where you can have, larger groups come in and do that, as well as, holding other functions, wedding receptions, graduations. There's lots of things that can be drivers for that as well. So, but yeah, that we've talked about, the importance of that and the future of this community and, the need for a quality hotel with a conference center would be a big shot in the arm.
To me, the question is, can we get our ducks in a row quickly enough, and what does that look like in alignment with
We should know pretty
legal
soon.
details?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's only $3 million, so.
Yeah,
Well,
two
yeah.
and a half, right? Or is
$1 million.
it?
It used to be a lot of money.
Right now, at the end of 24, 25, but then there's also another 380,000 in the urban renewal debt fund that was a loan requirement that we have a separate amount in
Okay.
there. So that's
Oh,
part of it.
okay.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, good. I mean, unfortunately, that doesn't go as far as it used to, but it could be a good.
When it formed in, was it
start.
2002? That was a lot of money, but I'm not saying $3 million is not a lot of money, but I'm just saying
It
construction-wise.
doesn't do nearly as much now
No.
as what it would have done then.
Construction-wise.
Yeah.
But land purchases, that's probably the one thing you could do with it, is identify a piece of land that you want to hold on to for some future development that, the city hall or hotel or park. Baseball field, baseball complex.
Any comments, Councilor Martin?
No.
Okay. Well, then if there's nothing else,